Hello, everyone, and welcome to Voices of Wisdom. I am your host, Kira Schaefer, and I am so thrilled that you are with me today. And today, I have got a special, wonderful treat for you. I know. I say that about every one of my speakers that are out here, and it's all true. Louisa Garrett is, I've been speaking from my heart about their heart to me. And one of the things that this gal does every day, she comes online and she bounces across my screen with a message of hope, with a message of peace, with a message of joining, of connecting, of loving, of even struggle and challenge. And she comes across the screen just as legitimately honest and integrity as anyone could ever be. And so I want to introduce you to Louisa, who is in my heart one of the most incredible people. She's also the leader behind Make Kind Loud. And she's going to tell you all about this, but I am so excited. So help me welcome the amazing Louisa Garrett.
Yay! Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Oh, I am good. I had to cough a little bit. I'm just stuck in my throat with all the joy I have for you.
I love that.
Well, I can't even get out all the words. I can't even get out all the words. Louisa, you make my heart smile every time I see you, every time I get to connect with you and talk to you. You mean so much to me, and you mean so much to the world, whether you realize it or not. But beyond me saying, and Herbie says, "Let's go, Louisa."
Let's go. Hey, Herbie.
If you guys have comments, you want to ask questions, please do so in the comments, please, please, please. But yeah, Louisa, tell people about you.
Yes. So I am Louisa Garrett. I am the founder of Make Kind Loud. It is a movement to spread as much love, joy, kindness, and compassion as possible for as long as I'm here. So however long that is, my goal is to run fast and furious with the message of kindness, because we need it. The world can be a crazy place. It can be a chaotic place. It can be a confusing place, a negative place. But there's so much good in this world. There's so much joy in this world, but we don't hear enough about it. And that is the essence of Make Kind Loud. We need to make it loud so people can hear it, and so they can understand that it's okay to be a kind human. It's okay to be a compassionate human. It's okay to be good. And we don't hear enough of that. And so that is the goal of Make Kind Loud.
And if anybody exemplifies that, that is absolutely you. And I just want to say, Liz Dawn, she say, woohoo, it's Kira
Hello.
and Louisa. Liz has offered us her platform. I've been thanking her for the other videos, so you've heard me mention her name before. I just want to let you guys know how much I love this lady. She is so incredible. She offered us her space to be able to bring beautiful voices out into the world to promote missions such as Make Kind Loud. So, Louisa, I just want to, she says, I love it, Make Kind Loud. Yes! Woo! I'm going to let you take it away, Louisa. I am just so excited for your talk today. And I will pop back on as I see questions come up. And I think this is going to be awesome. So here you go, girl. Let's do it.
Thank you so much. Okay, so Make Kind Loud. How did that all start? I have been on my kindness journey for about 10 years. It's coming up on 10 years now. And just to give you guys a little history, a little background, before my kindness journey, I was the most sarcastic person that you'd ever meet. I was locked and loaded, ready to just spew whatever was coming out of my mouth. I was ready for no reason. I was locked and loaded for no reason. And I have 25 beautiful nieces and nephews. They range from ages 37 down to, he just turned 2 months. So from 37 to 2 months. And about 10 years ago, one of my nieces lived with me. And this is how it all started. And I truly believe that kids are special beings and they have so much to offer. All we have to do as adults is listen to them, right? But sometimes we get in our own way. Sometimes we're like, we're the adult, do what I say, blah, 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 right? So about 10 years ago, one of my nieces lived with me. It was during her high school years. And as most of you know out there, the teenage angst is real. The teenage, I know everything, don't tell me what to do, that is real. And we all went through it. We all had our phase of however that looked. So I would tell my niece to clean her room, to do her homework, clean the kitchen, whatever it was I was telling her to do. She would always respond with, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And again, I was getting in my own way. So as the adult, I was thinking, do what I tell you to do. And in her 15-year-old brain, she was thinking, you don't have to say it like that. You don't have to do that. And so this went on for about a year. I would tell her to do something and she would say, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So mind you, remember, super sarcastic. And I'm sure, I'm almost positive that whatever I was telling her to do, that I was not saying it in the most kind way. There was some kind of sarcastic flair to it. And I didn't recognize that because that was my default. That was how I was wired. That's how I wired myself, was sarcasm. And so this went on for about a year. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Fast forward another 6 months. And someone said something to me that was completely off the wall. And I thought to myself, well, why did you say it like that? And as soon as I thought, why did you say it like that? Her little 15-year-old voice popped in my head and said, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And it took my breath away. I actually paused in that moment. And I thought, if I'm feeling this way from how this person has said this to me, and honestly, I have no clue what they said. I have no idea what they said. But I do know, and I do remember thinking, if this person who is not even in my family, if this person who is not even, part of my core group is making me feel this way, and they didn't have to say it in that manner, then why am I treating my niece, who I love and adore, who I absolutely love and adore, why am I speaking to her in such a way that is making her feel hurt or her feel attacked or less than? So it was in that moment when her voice popped in my head and said, it's not what you say, it's how you say it, that I decided that I needed to be a kinder person. It was in that moment that I decided, because back then I think I had about 20 nieces and nephews at that time. So I had 20 beautiful nieces and nephews. And if I wanted them to be kind humans, and I wanted them to be good, productive citizens of the world, then I needed to model that behavior, because what I was doing was modeling the behavior of sarcasm. And they too were little sarcastic beings, right? Because they hung out with me a lot. And so if I wanted them to be kinder and be the type of person that people look to and say, oh my goodness, look at that light, look at that joy, look at that compassion, then I needed to model that behavior. It's not about changing other people. It's about looking inside yourself and figuring out who you want to be in this world. It's about looking inside yourself and figuring out how you want this world to be. If you want this world to be kinder, if you want this world to be better, then you have to be better. And I was talking to myself. I had to be better. I not only had to be better, I had to do better. Because it's easy for adults to be like, don't worry about what I'm doing, worry about what I'm saying. But people often, more times than not, will look at what you're doing versus what you're saying. So if I want this world to be better, then I had to be better. And it was in that moment that when I was taking pause, when I looked at that person, it was thinking not about what they were saying to me, but about how I was speaking to other people, how I was making other people feel. And that was not a good feeling, because I knew for a fact that I had hurt people's feelings, that I had said things for no reason, just to get a reaction. That's how I was operating. I was operating in getting a reaction from people. And it wasn't a kind reaction. And I knew that if someone was going to come to me and say something, that they were never, ever going to get the best of me. But that was a defense mechanism, because I am such an emotional being. And I feel things so deeply that sometimes I could just be sitting there and just start crying because I feel the weight of the world. And so my defense, so that people didn't see me cry or didn't see me be emotional, was to put up that sarcasm shield. And so I was trying to protect myself by being sarcastic. But what I was doing is I was feeding into the negativity of the world. So I was not helping myself, nor was I helping anyone for that matter. So it took a minute for me to just be like, dang, what are you going to do about this? You have a choice now. Now that you have had this awakening, you have a choice to either continue down the road that you've been on, down the sarcastic road, and you can just keep being who you are, or you can change and you can do different. And we all have the ability. We all have the ability to decide to be different, to decide to be better, because that's our choice. And that's who we are meant to be, is to be better, is to leave this world better. So don't get me wrong. I did not go home that night after this incident and was just like, all right, I'm kinder. Here we go. No, that's not what happened at all. I did not wake up the next day and was like, kind, got this, let's go. It was a journey. As I said before, as I said at the beginning, I am coming up on 10 years on my kindness journey. The first 2 years were so difficult because I had wired myself to sarcasm. And so when people came to me and said something or whatever the situation, I literally had to monitor what I was going to say, how I was going to respond. And if someone said something too crazy to me, the immediate sarcastic Louisa was like, okay, here we go. And I had to be like, in my mind, you can't say that. Wait, no, you can't say that. Nope, can't say that either. And it really did take me taking pause and taking a breath to say, who are you going to be in this moment? How are you going to show up in this moment? Yes, they have said something crazy to you. Yes, they have hurt your feelings. But who are you going to be? And that was the pivot to my purpose. I did not know that my purpose in this life was to spread as much love, joy, kindness, and compassion as possible. I did not know that prior to my niece telling me, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I may start crying, and that's okay, because finding your purpose is so powerful and it's so beautiful. But you can find your purpose and still not do anything about it. So the question I had to ask myself as I was looking at myself in this full-length mirror, as I was looking at myself in this full-length mirror and really, really looking into the core of me, I decided that the power of my purpose was more important than trying to get one over on someone, was more important than trying to best someone. Because at the end of the day, when that dash is done, at the end of your life, at the end of my life, I wanted to be able to say, you did everything possible to spread as much love, joy, and kindness and compassion as you possibly could. But I had to have that conversation with myself. And that's where the struggle is. That's the hard part. When you realize that you cannot change anyone, when you realize that your superpower is you, when you realize that there's always going to be noise in this world, there's always going to be people who are trying to take you down. There are always going to be people who are going to say things about you who are absolutely untrue. And you know it's untrue. And they know it's untrue. But how you respond and how you react has nothing to do with what that person is saying or doing. And it has everything to do with you. When it all comes down to it, we belong to each other. It's really that simple. We belong to each other. And when I realized that we belong to each other, then how do I want people to treat me? How do I want people to show up? I cannot express more that showing up matters every single time. Being your light, because we all have light. We were all born to love. We were all born to shine our lights. And sometimes shining your light means standing in a dark room by yourself and just shining. Because even in a dark room, in the darkest of dark rooms, you can see a lone light. And the more you shine your light, the more you give power to other people to shine their lights. Because maybe, just maybe, they didn't realize that they had a light of their own. And maybe, just maybe, they had never seen someone stand tall and someone shine. And that is the essence of Make Kind Loud. We've got to figure out a way to be helpers in this world. There's enough negativity. There's enough of the chaos. There's enough of the confusion and the vitriol. There's enough of that. But there's so much more goodness. And if we can just be that light for others to see, then we can change this world. I talk a lot about changing the world. And people often think that I mean all 7 billion people that live on this earth, that I want to change them all at once. Well, let's go back to the beginning of this talk. We cannot change anyone. All we can do is be a force of good. Now, if I connect with just one person, and then that person goes off and they do something profound and something kind and something great, then that is going to have a ripple effect. Then that person may touch 5 people. And then those 5 people may touch 20 people. And then those 20 may just touch 50 people. But we have to have that first ripple. And that first ripple is you. The first ripple is realizing the power of your purpose. But not only realizing it, grab hold of it. Because the second part is the action. You can know what you're supposed to do in this world all day long. You can know what you're supposed to do in this world all day long. But if you do not act on it, then what's the point? One of my absolute favorite quotes is from Maya Angelou, and she gets misquoted all of the time. The quote is, when do the best that you can until you know better. And when you know better, do better. It's that last part, the do better. Most people quote her as saying, when you know better, you do better. That's not true. There are a lot of people in this world who know better, who are still not doing better. So you do the best that you can until you know better. And then when you know better, you do better. So 10 years ago, Sarcastic Louisa was doing the best she could. Sarcastic Louisa was thinking, this is how you get ahead in life. This is how you make sure that no one ever gets the best of you, is by getting them first. And it took a 15-year-old girl to tell me over and over and over again for a year, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And then that seed was planted. And then it took someone completely different to say something crazy to me, to tweet, to get that little glitch in my head. It's not what you say, it's how you say it, to flip that switch. And so now I knew better. But what was I going to do to change? And that is where the inner work comes in. It's about making sure that you are doing the best that you can with what you have. And the beautiful thing is that we are all born for greatness. My greatness looks different than your greatness. Your greatness looks different than someone else's greatness. But we were all born to be great. And we were all born for a reason. We are here in this moment, in this very time, 2021, for a reason. But it's up to each and every one of us to figure out what that reason is. No one can do that work for you. No one can change you. All you have to do is be open, be consistent, and be willing to be the person that you're meant to be. At times it is a struggle. At times you're going to confront yourself. Yourself is going to confront yourself. Where you have to make a decision of what am I going to do at this crossroad? Because the crossroads never stop. People think, oh, you're the kindness lady, nothing ever gets to you. Things get to me all the time. Things get to me all the time. And there are moments when I think, should I unleash sarcastic Louisa? Because she is still inside of me. And there are moments where she is about right here, ready to come out. And I have to say to myself, who do you want to be in this moment? How are you going to show up in this moment? And sometimes I fail. There are times when after I've had an interaction where I think, why did you do that? But here is the beautiful thing. Here's a beautiful tidbit for everyone out there. Just because you fail in one moment does not mean that has to carry over for the rest of your day, for the rest of your week, the rest of your month, the rest of your life. It means that in that one moment, you were not your kindest self. But you have millions of moments where you get to decide how you want to show up. And it's the learning. It's the growing. It's the being willing to stand in the gap. There's always going to be two sides. Always. But just because there's this side and there's this side doesn't mean that this part in here doesn't mean anything. That part is the part that means everything. So if you are willing and you are brave enough to take a step forward in the gap, if you are willing and you are brave enough to listen to the other side, if you are willing and you are brave enough to share your story, that's how we grow. That's how we come together. This world is smaller than we think. 7 billion people is a lot of people. But we are more alike than we are different. We may look different. We may sound different. But at the core of it all, we all want the same thing. We all want to be loved. We all want to be seen. We all want to be heard. At the core of it all, we all want the same thing. And if you want to be loved, and I want to be loved, and our views, our religious beliefs, our political affiliations, our outward looks may be polar opposites. But if you want to be loved, and I want to be loved, and we belong to each other, then all we have to do is love. But we have to get out of our own way. We have to be bold enough to say, no, that's not right. And we have to be bold enough to stand up for what's right. We have to be bold enough to say to the people who have been closest to you, and you know that they are saying crazy stuff in the world or doing crazy things in the world. We have to be bold enough to have the hard conversations. Because when we have those hard conversations, when we are truly, truly open, and when we are truly honest with each other, then that's the path of compassion. We don't know what people are going through. We have no idea what people have going on in their life. It could be your neighbor. It could be someone in your family. It could be someone who lives in your same house. We all experience things differently. And we have no idea what people are going through. So maybe someone has just cut you off in traffic and you're over there like, "Rawr!" But what if that person was speeding because they just got a phone call? What if that person is trying to get to wherever they're trying to get as fast as they can? Because it literally is a matter of life or death. The person in line who just is just talking craziness and they are spewing all kinds of negativity towards you. We don't know what they deal with in their life. And maybe their shield, as mine was sarcasm, maybe their shield is negativity. Maybe their shield is hatred. But again, it doesn't matter what they are doing. All that matters is how you are showing up. Now, I'm not saying, let me be clear. I am not saying that people are allowed to speak to you in a certain way, that people are allowed to treat you a certain way, that it's okay for them to do whatever they're doing in a negative way. No, that is not okay. But being kind does not mean laying down and allowing people to walk over you. Being kind means standing up for what's right. It means speaking up for people who believe that they can't speak up for themselves. It's being a voice for those people who don't have a voice. It's showing people that there is a different way. But again, you can only control you. So other people's opinions of you has nothing to do with you. You will always be the villain in someone else's story. But you can be the hero in your own story. So the way people come across, the way people think about you, the way people treat you has absolutely nothing to do with you. And it has everything to do with them. So you can only control what you can control. And what is that? Yourself. So the question is, Who do you want to be? The question is, have you found your purpose? And if so, what are you doing about it? Because it's all in the action. Our goal, the mission, the purpose behind why we are here is to leave this world better than before. And the way that we leave this world better than before is by being better. It's by showing up. It's by offering grace, not only to other people, but especially to yourself. Offer yourself grace. Allow yourself to understand what freedom means. Offer yourself grace and forgive yourself for things that you've done, for things that you've said, for situations where you could have been better. The past is the past, and we don't live there anymore. And we have no idea what the future is going to hold. But we have right now, this very moment. So how are you going to show up in this very moment? If we take life moment by moment, it's not only easier to digest, it's not only easier to deal with, but it makes it easier to show up. If we're not thinking about what happened 30 years ago, if we're not living that pain over and over again, and we're not worried about what could happen in the future, if we live life moment by moment, and if we make a positive impact in this moment, then you have lived your purpose. And it's about making sure that every single step, every single time we interact with people, that we do our absolute best to shine our lights on them, to shine our lights on situations. There's a beautiful story that I like to tell, and it's about this girl who was on the beach, and she was picking up something and throwing it into the ocean. And this man was watching. Every morning he would get up and he would walk along the beach. And so this particular morning, he saw the little girl reaching down, throwing something into the ocean. It was like a dance. She was dancing, throwing something into the ocean. And he was on his walk, and he was mesmerized by this figure. He was mesmerized by this little girl. And the closer he got to her, he realized what she was doing. She was reaching down and picking up starfish and then throwing them back into the ocean, because a starfish cannot live on the beach. So as the man got closer, he asked the little girl, he said, "Little girl, what are you doing?" And she said, "I'm throwing the starfish back into the ocean so that they can live." And the man looked down the beach and he's like, "Little girl, why are you wasting your time? There are thousands of starfish on this beach. There is no way possible you can make a difference." And the little girl thought about it. She pondered what the old man was saying. And then she reached down and she picked up a starfish and she threw it into the ocean. And as that starfish landed in the ocean, She looked at the old man and said, I made a difference to that one. And that's all we can do. We can only make a difference to that one person at a time, one interaction at a time. So don't think about the bigness of this world. Don't think about the bigness of what it means to change the world. Think about the impact that you can have one individual at a time, because it truly can make a difference. And the world needs more little girls, more little boys, more teenagers, more adults picking up starfish and throwing it back into the ocean. The world needs more of us to take action, because it's in the inaction that nothing changes. It's in the inaction that the noise of the world gets louder and louder and louder. When you know better, you do better. And when you do better, the world can change, because you are shining your light and you are living your purpose and you are sharing the love that you are meant to share in this world. No one can do it for you. And the choice is yours.
God, I'm just sitting back here going, and then every time you laugh, I'm like, oh, my heart just grows 3 sizes. I just love you. I'm so happy. This is such a major, massive topic. And it seems like, oh, well, it's simple. But really, it's not. It's not. It's coming through, just like you're saying, like those connections and having all of that wired in to say, this is how I respond to this. This is how my mother responded. This is how my dad responded. This is how my cousin responded. And it's like, and so that's how I know how to make it through the world and stay alive. It's like, what life are you really living if you're just going based on your old programming? That's just so huge. And it seems like, oh, I love that you brought that out where you said, oh, the kindness lady, she is happy and fine and everything's good.
All the time. Yeah. No.
She can take it, and it's like, no. Like I've been just posting like crazy back here around, where is it? Where you said kindness was, where is it? What kindness really was, and it's taking a stand. It's, it's just so huge, because it's not simple. It's not plain and clear and obvious.
Right.
It's hard work. So thank you for doing work. Yeah.
And we all have to do our own work.
Yeah.
And once we start doing our own work, then the more you get in tune with your purpose, the more you get in tune with who you truly are meant to be in this world. I mean, it's life altering. It really is. But the work never stops, though. So you can again have this epiphany of, oh, this is who I'm supposed to be. But now you have to continue, like, every day.
Right. You have to keep making the choice to keep doing the thing. I was driving and I something happened. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not enlightened yet. I was wondering. I was doing pretty good. And then I'm like, nope.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I have those moments. I'm like, oh, you still have work to do.
No, we got work to do. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm not seeing that person with love. I'm not seeing the God nature in that person because
Right.
I'm needing to be right about this particular situation or that. Yeah, this is such a huge topic and it's major. I just want to before you got started, Liz said, love you big time. So honored to have you here on CYL, important voices of wisdom being shared.
Oh,
That
thank
brings
you.
me, yeah, to that, one of the last parts of your topic, which is purpose.
Yeah.
And saying, okay, now take action. Do you know what the purpose is? Now take action. And I think that it's easy to say and it's easy to put out there. And your encouragement, I hope, will help people do their purpose. That's the scary part, I think. What do you say to people who are like, but what if I get killed with sticks and rocks?
Yeah. I mean, it's not easy. Like you said, it's hard. It's hard work. And I want to make it clear that I'm not saying that just because you figure it out, that then the road is going to be so smooth. Oh no, the road gets rockier. Like once you figure it out, the road gets rockier, and that sucks. You're like, but I figured this out. Yes, but your purpose is to keep going forward in your purpose. And so when people come at you, because they're going to come at you, they're going to come at you. They're going to try to derail you. They're going to make you feel a certain way. Yeah. But you have to have control of you because that's all you can have control over. So yeah, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard, but it's going to be worth it. Yeah. At the end, it's going to be worth it. And when you are getting beat up with those sticks and people are saying crazy things about you, you got to keep moving forward. That doesn't mean you're not going to stumble because you are. We all stumble. We're human. I mean, we're going to stumble. But it's about what happens next. Let's even say you fall down. Are you going to stay down? And when you trip and you look back and be like, oh my God, what just happened? I just tripped over nothing. When you trip, are you going to keep looking back or are you going to keep going forward? Because you are going to trip, you are going to stumble, you are going to fall. But what happens next? Then what?
Yeah. I needed this whole message today. People have been joining us, and also I feel like this was completely for me.
And that's all that matters. See, it was for you. One person at a time. That's it.
One of these days, I'm gonna meet you in person. I'm gonna hug you so hard.
I love a good hug.
Pop out.
I love it. Bring it. I'm ready for it.
You might not be standing at the end of it. You might get tackled. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we want people to be able to get in touch with you. So I have louisagarrett.com. Hashtag Make Kind Loud is also a place where you can see her out on Facebook. She's got all these posts. She comes and bounces across my screen every day and you've been doing a daily video of encouragement for at least the last couple of years that I've known you. Yeah.
Right. And actually I was thinking about it because I couldn't remember when I started. And that's also a beautiful thing about your journey is that as you go, you're like, wait, when did I even start this? Like, literally. And so I believe it was February of 2018 is when I did my first morning post. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this every day. And yeah, so that's a little over 3 years now of just every day getting up and saying a little something because we all need encouragement. But there are times when I'm like, do I want to get up and say something today? Like, I'm not feeling very enthusiastic about this, but it's not about me, right? And so when we realize that we belong to each other, that we truly, truly belong to each other, then self comes second. And so even on some of the days where I'm just like, I am not feeling this.
Yeah.
But I know that part of my purpose is to get up and do this message. Then I get up and do the message. Because it's about, they say the more that you smile and the more that you laugh, the more joy you have. And so that is me every morning, is getting up and just spreading just that little teeny bit of joy. And most of the time I'm talking to myself. Like, I'm like, this message is not,
come on, let's do this.
Right. This message is not for anyone but me.
Just getting through the day, baby.
Let's go. Come on.
And I want everybody to know too, and I know we have to wrap it up here, but I want everybody to know too. One of the key points you said, being kind doesn't mean you just kind of shrink away. You are saying and I've seen you on Facebook saying some really hard things. Saying, listen, this is not acceptable. This is not okay, specifically with racism and the basketball team and I'm like, okay, this is real. Like, this kindness is not fluffy kittens and rainbows. Right. Kindness is real. It is deep. It is, like you said, standing up to things that do not work anymore. They do
and
not
haven't working forever. Like,
because
they don't work anymore. They haven't worked in forever, but they're keeping going because no one is standing up and saying anything. And so we have to use our voices, because there are people in parts of the world who can't. Yeah. They literally will die if they speak up. They literally will be killed. And so we have a beautiful opportunity living in the country that we live in, with its faults, with its craziness that it has. America is not perfect, obviously. But what we do have the ability to do is to use our voice. And we have the ability to stand up and say, that's wrong. And we have the ability to be so loud with it that other people in other countries can then be like, okay, well, let's do our small part, whatever that is, right? And so it's just about standing up for what's right. It's about not letting people get away with something just because they've always gotten away with it. That does not make it right.
No.
But if you don't use your voice, and I don't use my voice, and we see what's happening in this world, then we too are a part of the problem, because we are allowing it.
Yeah.
And it's not going to change overnight. It's not. It's going to be after our lifetimes. But we got to start planting those seeds now.
Yeah.
And
just like your niece did.
Exactly. And then when we start planting those seeds, those younger generations are going to come up and be like, hey, no.
Well, we see it. I think we see it now.
For sure.
We are seeing those seeds have been planted with so many of our young people coming up. They are brilliant. They are sensitive. They are caring. They can sense. They're intuitive. They can sense when something just isn't right and doesn't make sense. And they're looking at, old paradigms, and they're like going, no.
Right.
What, you really do that? You don't let somebody just have their own sexuality the way they want to be, just who they are. Black people can't have the same pay rate as a white person. That doesn't make sense. It's not logical. It's not intuitive. It's not clear. Just because my skin is this color, your skin is this color, that makes us significantly different and should be treated differently, one with more respect and one with less. Girl, I could tell you things. Because in everything that I'm saying is just a true love behind it, because the purpose underneath that is kindness. Yeah. It is kindness. You are making change. And love. Yes. Yeah. It's logical, but it's heart-based. It's truth.
Yeah.
Oh, Louisa, I could talk to you for hours and days.
I know. And it's so, I know we got to go, but it's so, what's the word? Vulnerable.
Yeah.
That I understand, because this was me, and it is still me at times, where you don't want to show your vulnerability because of the fear of people taking advantage of that.
Right.
But we have to get vulnerable with each other.
Yes.
We have to.
Yes.
We have to be able to share our hearts with each other. And we have to be able to share our love with each other.
Yes.
And so, like, at the very beginning, and I wasn't expecting it for me to get as emotional as I was getting, but it's okay. And to allow yourself to feel those emotions, and to not only feel them, but to express them.
Yes.
Because if no one ever sees it, then they won't know that it's okay.
Yeah.
And that's what it all boils down to.
Yeah. Well, you can have your emotions with me any day.
Thank you.
I feel completely safe to be vulnerable with you as well.
Please, yes, thank you.
And people are saying, you know, I'm going to follow you and all this kind of good stuff. Please go out there to louisagarrett.com. Go to #MakeKindLoud. Let's make this loud together. Let's do the logical stuff. Break down paradigms and dismantle any of that old wiring that Louisa was sharing with us about. So any last things you'd like to leave our friends with, and then we'll head off.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said a lot. But I do want to make sure that the message of we belong to each other is heard loud and clear. Because literally, like you just mentioned a second ago, it doesn't matter what color you are, what color I am, what beliefs we have. At the core of it all, it's love. And at the core of it all, it's compassion and joy and grace and kindness. And we all want those things. And so if we all want those things, then the way we look doesn't matter. No. Because we all belong to each other. Yeah. Simple as that.
I belong to you, Louisa.
And I belong to you.
All right, guys, thank you so much. Louisa, thank you so much for being with us. I feel so much good energy coming from you and from this talk. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
You mean so much to me. And guys, I'm going to be back again tomorrow, and we're going to do more talking and more good stuff, feeling good things to you. So join us again, and I will talk to you later.
Bye.